My Hometown, brought to you by Giuseppe Pizzeria. Bring home real pizzeria pizza taste. Bring home Giuseppe by Dr. Oetker.
Our platoon was responsible for, winning the hearts and minds is one of the terms we used. Day-to-day jobs varied, but we always had patrols out within the area. Lots of opportunities to visit orphanages, help build schools. We could see the progress in Afghanistan from the day we got there to the day we left. Very rewarding work, it's eye-opening.
Jay Feyko served in the Canadian Forces for most of his adult life. But before Feyko was a soldier, he was a hockey player.
I think he probably played every single year since I met him in some league or another. Sometimes he was playing maybe 2-3 times a week, sometimes just one, depending on how many children we had at the time. And so I knew from day one we were going to be a hockey family.
Hockey was present throughout Feyko's military career, even as his deployments took him far from home.
There's a lot of similarities between any sports team and the military about that camaraderie and trying to achieve one goal. There's little games that each of the different regiments and units play against each other. I remember once going to the rink and there was 2 tanks parked right beside each other, and we had to squeeze through with our hockey bags to get through into the rink. You can hear the ground shake as the tanks rolled away.
In 2004, Feyko was part of Roto Zero, the first rotation of Canadian troops on the ground in Afghanistan.
Well, we knew Afghanistan was a more dangerous and hostile environment. We were the first roto for working in Kabul with the Afghan National Army and their police force. We were going down the main route, green route in Kabul, and we came to a bus stop where there was a little indent in the road where our vehicles had to slow down to go over, and a suicide bomber came out and detonated about 4 feet from the vehicle.
We have sad news tonight out of Afghanistan. Corporal Jamie Murphy of Newfoundland died instantly in the attack, and 3 soldiers were wounded, including Lieutenant Jason Feyko of Peterborough.
I remember jumping out of the vehicle, and I was fortunate that I remained conscious through the whole time. I remember rubbing my eye with my hand, trying to see, but I couldn't see.
Evacuated to a hospital in Germany, Feyko learned the terms of his new reality.
So blind in my right eye was really what it came down to, and I really didn't know the extent of that. I didn't know if I'd be able to keep my eye or if I'd have any vision in my eye at that point. I was very fortunate where shrapnel went through my neck. It was millimeters from hitting my jugular vein. If I turned my head a second, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
I don't know that I'll ever fully know everything he's been through. And it was a lot of learning in the early stages. What was the boundary? What is good to talk about and what is not good to talk about?
That was one of the biggest challenges, was that unknown and the kind of idea that nobody understood what I was going through. Friends and peers that were over there with me, I really enjoyed just sitting down and talking to them at my own pace. You don't have to do it in isolation. You don't have to sit in your basement and feel sorry. There are other people that can help.
In the effort to recover, physically and mentally, Feyko returned to his favorite sport.
I always said to myself, I want to be the same person I was before injury, after injury. And that meant doing the same things that I love to do.
You guys want to go 3-on-3 or 4-on-4?
I was only a month back in the ground. I still had open wounds, and I got invited to go play a hockey game. It set me back physically a little bit, but mentally it was one of the best things I ever did is just to get back out there and try to skate and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to play still. I'll have some limitations, but that's okay. I'll still be able to do that.
In 2010, Feyko discovered Soldier On, a resource for ill and injured members of the Canadian Forces. It recognizes the role that sport can play in recovery.
We do everything from fly fishing to hiking to yoga to downhill skiing. You name it. If there's a sport or a physically recreational program out there, that we'll support it. And we've helped over 3,500 ill and injured members kind of rediscover their new normal.
Retired from service, Feyko now manages Soldier On full-time, spreading its message to other Canadian veterans. The program has been embraced by the hockey community, including allies in the NHL.
Well, Mark Borowiecki does what he does best. The one thing you know he's going to bring to your lineup every night is physicality, and if you're playing against him, you better make a mental note when he's on the ice. He finishes every single check.
Mark Borowiecki has been fantastic. Last year, he donated season tickets for every home game to Soldier On, and we had one member and a loved one or a friend join them, and they got to take in an Ottawa Senators game, and then Mark met him after the game and show him around the locker room. What a humble and really great experience that was for everybody.
What an impressive guy. I could sit down and have a beer with that guy any day of the week. He really is just a cool guy to be around. You know, he's been through so much. He's still so positive. He's got a great family. They're just such impressive people. And, you know, I figured anything that could help out people like Jay, I'd be on board to do.
Oh, nice goal.
You know, I can't help but kind of chuckle sometimes when I hear coaches go on and on about going to war and going to battle. You know, I get paid money to play a game. I get paid money to slap a rubber puck around. I'm not going to battle. I'm not going to war. Those men and women do. And I think it's important to kind of, you know, make sure that there's a distinction between that.
The Senators have been overwhelming supporters of Soldier On. They've hosted us for a couple Soldier On Senators alumni camps.
There you go, get it!
Which we bring about 18 ill and injured members to Ottawa, and they get to practice with the Senators alumni on the ice.
This is a really small thank you, you know. This is a fraction of what they deserve and what they should be owed. You know, and I want them to know that regardless of whether there's dark days or what may be going on, that there's people out there thankful for their sacrifices, even if it doesn't get expressed or vocalized every day. You know, there's people like me, like my wife, and countless other people across this country who are thinking about them every day. So I think that's something important for them to remember.
Knowing what I've been through and how I used hockey as part of my recovery, you know, it's been such a big part of my life. It's important for me to pass that on to my kids.
Put your arms up. Put your arms up.
The whole family plays hockey now, which is a lot of time at the rink, but it's all good. I really cherish what it brings. It's more than just a game. It's that whole social aspect. It's that support. It's just a sport, but it's more than a sport.
My Hometown, brought to you by Giuseppe Pizzeria. Bring home real pizzeria pizza taste. Bring home Giuseppe by Dr. Utker.